Hi, I'm Susan, one of the co-founders here at Kiwi Lane, and in this video I want to give you a close look at our Play to Create system. Now, our Play to Create system was designed to help speed up the designing process, and you can use this in scrapbooking, card making, or even DIY crafts. Now, to help us are our designer templates, and we actually used our designer templates on these layouts that you see, and you'll notice that we use basically paper. We tend to add some buttons or embellishments here and there, but for the most part we stay away from expensive embellishments. Now, if you do have them, you can definitely incorporate them into your designs. Now, to start off, we're going to use our designer templates as a designing tool, and then we're going to use them as a template. Now, this is one of our 12-inch borders, and this comes in one set. Now, each of our border sets have 3 different designs, and each design has a side A and a side B to it like this. So to start off, we're going to just go ahead and simply grab one of our pairs, and we're going to design both sides at the same time. So you're going to put your A on one side and your matching piece on the other side. And this is where it just really gets fun, because basically you're just going to play. We're not cutting into anything, we're not making any mistakes, we're just going to kind of play. And the great thing about this is that we're not staring at an empty page. I can't tell you how many times in the past I used to sit down in a scrapbook and I would just stare at an empty page and just hope that inspiration would come. So we're just going to play and see what we can come up with. Now we're going to go ahead and move these around. You can lay them out however you'd like. And the borders are what create these fun shapes that you see on the pages. Okay, so you could do just one layer like this, but if you want to add multiple layers, you can go ahead and grab another pair, whether it's from the same set, or you can even mix and match, which is a whole other fun thing that you can do between sets. So you can see a fun layer look like this. So this example here is just using one border. And then this one here is actually using 2 borders back to back. So that's another fun way that you can do that as well. And that's simply just placing the 2 pairs back to back like you see on this layout. And again, you can do it top, bottom, left, right, however you'd like to just kind of play with those designs, however you want to create it. And just to give you kind of a couple more samples here on those. Okay, now that we have our borders figured out, we are going to add some accessories, and accessories vary. We have a whole bunch of different themes and sets that you can choose from, but the great thing is that again, you are just using your paper, your scraps of paper. So as you can see in these samples, the moment that you change that paper, the look of it changes as well. So really quickly, I'm going to just go ahead and add a couple. Another thing that I love about this Play to Create system, it almost creates a foundation where if you have some extra embellishments or maybe stickers or stamps that you've been holding on to, it creates kind of this platform for you to incorporate those in. Now again, as far as how much you decide to layer, you are the designer. It's totally up to you. A lot of times it also depends on how much paper you have. I know for me that if I have some scraps of paper, I'll just take an extra second and say, let's add an extra layer just for fun. So again, we have some different boys, girls layouts, and even fun pocket scrapbooking, which is another thing that you can do with the Play to Create system. Okay, so if I do like a flower here, and then like I mentioned, if you wanted to add a layer, you can pull in some tinies. Now our tinies are a lot of fun because you can use them on your layouts, but you can also incorporate them on your cards. So lots of use that you can get out of the tinies. So you could do something simple like that, but again, if it's not working, you haven't cut into anything. So really the concept is to play. So let's say we want to change it up. Maybe we want to go more of a simple look. You could do something like that, maybe even add this bird. And I'm actually playing with the Paisley 12-inch border and springtime accessory. These elements are springtime. Now I did pull in some brackets, which are a lot of fun as well. And you could see that you can do something basic, or maybe I do want to create something like that. Like again, you can incorporate other embellishments, or even a great place to add a title or journaling to your page. Now that we have our page embellished, I really wanted to show you how easy it is to actually trace these out of your paper. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your pattern of paper that you would like to cut your borders out. So for example, this pattern here. And we're going to grab our side A and our side B, and we're going to trace those out together. So for example, I'm going to grab my Paisley Place 3A and 3B, okay? And basically I'm gonna grab my scraps of paper, my paper stash, and I'm just gonna line it up on the edge, trace, take my other one, and then I just make a mark right here on the edge. Where that mark is, I'm just gonna do a straight cut with my paper trimmer. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that really quickly. So I'm just gonna line it up where I made that mark, straight cut. Such an efficient use out of your paper, especially if you use double-sided paper. You can even do the other border out of the other pattern on the other side. Now, we definitely recommend a good pair of scissors. It makes all the difference. So a good pair of scissors, and then make sure you protect it, right? From your little ones, if you have little ones. I know for me in my household, I'm always like, who used my scissors? So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna follow that line, okay? And you're gonna do a quick cut at the middle. But what's great, again, is not only does the way that the borders are designed help you design a 2-page layout if needed, quickly and painlessly, but when you cut them out, you do one cut, but you get the 2 pieces for each side of your layout. So you basically get 2 for 1. Okay, now say you have a little bit of, like, so for example here, you have a little bit of pencil mark or even blemishes or imperfections. That's quite okay. So basically what we recommend is to go ahead and ink those edges. So I'm just going to ink those edges. And you'll notice that in a lot of our samples, we ink the edges. It gives a nice finished look, hides any blemishes or imperfections, but also it hides any pencil marks. So I never erase them. I just simply ink right over them. I can never ink something and not ink it all the way. So I'm going to finish that. So that is really simple. So the plate, and then all you're going to do is replace. And I would just replace those like so. And you would do the same thing for the other side. So the Plate to Create system is a 5-step process. It's design, trace, cut, ink, replace. It's very simple. And the same thing with your accessories. So for example, maybe you have an accessory. The great thing is, again, you can use those scraps of paper. You can have the smallest piece of scrap of paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually cut this out. So like say you had a random scraps of paper. You can actually lay the design right on there. And you'll know if that scraps of paper is enough for that design. And then what we're gonna do is the same thing. Where'd my pencil go? There it is. And we're gonna trace that out, right? And I just hold it down and just, again, basic tools, just a pencil. Okay, and then you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna follow that line. Now one tip, just for cutting sake, is that you kind of want to move the paper. So see how I'm moving and adjusting that paper, and I'm not moving my cutting hand. So I'm just going to keep that on there, move it around. I do have a little pencil marks, but again, simply just ink right over those. Another great thing about inking is that when you are using a lot of patterns and colors and different papers, that it helps separate those patterns, those layers on your layout. And so then you would add that back. So you can see that in a couple minutes, per se, the designing's done, which I can't tell you how many times just playing and having that hands-on effect not only brings me satisfaction and joy, but inspires me as well in my creativity. But then you just make a couple cuts, and again, up to you how many layers you add, but it's a really simple process and very satisfying at the end, and a great way to document your memories in a creative way. Now, another set that I want to show you that really saves me a lot of time is our photo set. Your photos are a huge component of your layout and actually a big piece of how your layout is designed. So in the designing process, I'll actually use the photo set to help me figure out where and how many of pictures that I need on my layout. And you can see that you can do different orientations, which is kind of fun, like that. You can even fit a lot of pictures on your layout. So for example, this layout right here, I was using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pictures. So you can still incorporate a lot of pictures into the design to really set the mood for that memories that you're preserving. Now again, if you don't like it or you need to kind of play again, just take a couple extra minutes and just rearrange them. Again, you haven't cut into anything. Another great thing about the photo sets, again, they're not only great for a designing tool, but when you actually go crop down your photo, you can use them as a cropping tool as well. So simply just place that right over to your picture and you'll see if that works for that size. Like in this instant, it's not quite the right size. I don't want to cut anyone's head off or anything like that. So you can adjust it here and you can rearrange it for whatever you feel like is important to be in that picture. And then I just simply make a mark and then I use my paper trimmer to cut that picture down. But it helps take the guesswork out of what sizes to crop my picture, along with in the design process of fitting how many pictures I want on my layout as well. Now we also have sizes for cards and they work the same where you're going to design your card first, or we even have borders for pocket samples as well. So you can have a lot of fun by creatively designing your pocket for your pocket pages, and all you need is pocket page protectors, and then you can use your papers and pictures to fill in and decorate each of those pockets as you wish. So for example, here is a card base that we are just going to, of course, design first on, and then we'll use it as a template. But this is one of the card borders. And what's fun about the card borders is that you could do, again, a top bottom. You can do a layered look like this. Now, again, if you keep in mind maybe using a double-sided pattern, then what you can do is go ahead when you're designing, flip that like so, and when you trace them out of double-sided paper, you're going to have one pattern on this side and one on that side. So that is a fun trick to keep in mind when you're designing your cards. Or you can incorporate one on the inside, which is a lot of fun to just add a little extra touch on the inside of your card. Makes the receiver definitely smile when they open it. Or you can even separate them and make additional cards if you'd like. But here are some samples of those cards. Again, awesome way to use up your scraps of paper. We tend to use about 5 to 6 sheets of paper, and we can create a 2-page layout and usually 1 to 2 cards out of our scraps. And this is double-sided paper that we tend to use. Thank you so much for taking a minute and watching this demonstration of the Play to Create system. If you have any more questions or if you would like to place an order, make sure to talk to your Kiwi Lead instructor. Thanks again.